Outrage is erupting in Washington after U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi released a list of 305 rich and famous names connected to the Epstein files, including celebrities who died when Jeffrey Epstein was still a teenager. Yes, one such example is American singer-songwriter Janis Joplin, who died in 1970 when Epstein was just 17 years old. That revelation has triggered bipartisan fury, with Republicans and Democrats alike accusing the Department of Justice of releasing names without context and potentially misleading the public. Instead of bringing clarity to the Epstein scandal, Bondi's Valentine's Day letter may have reignited the firestorm. On February 14th, Bondi sent a formal letter to Congress stating that the DOJ had completed its obligations under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Attached was a list of 305 individuals who were allegedly named at least once in Epstein-related materials. Being named in the files does not mean someone committed wrongdoing, but critics argue that releasing a raw list without explaining how or why each person was mentioned creates confusion and suspicion. Among the names included are British former socialite and Epstein's aide Ghislaine Maxwell, former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, American singer and actress Diana Ross, business tycoon Elon Musk, former U.S. President Joe Biden's children Ashley and Hunter Biden, and again, Janis Joplin. That's what detonated the political backlash. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna slammed the DOJ, accusing it of purposefully muddying the waters. He pointed out that placing a deceased rock star who died before Epstein's criminal network even existed on the same list as convicted offenders makes no sense without context. Khanna demanded the full, unredacted files, with only victims' names protected. But Democrats weren't alone. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene also erupted after discovering her own name appeared on the list. Her complaint? The 31 pages associated with her name were completely redacted. Greene blasted the DOJ, demanding transparency if her name was going to be publicly released. When lawmakers from both parties are accusing the Attorney General of mishandling disclosure, the controversy goes beyond politics. It becomes a credibility crisis. Adding fuel to the fire, political commentator Ed Krasenstein pointed out that while Ashley Biden and Hunter Biden appeared on the list, none of current U.S. President Donald Trump's children were included, despite previous Epstein-related documents mentioning members of the Trump family in various contexts. He labeled it a potential cover-up. Meanwhile, Bondi has denied any political filtering. Her letter explicitly stated no records were withheld or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. But the perception battle is already underway. The Epstein files are uniquely explosive. Across the globe, even associations, not allegations of crimes, have ended careers. In the United Kingdom, former Prince Andrew lost his titles, public funding, and military honors after scrutiny over his ties to Epstein. He paid a multi-million-pound settlement to Virginia Giuffre while denying wrongdoing. In Europe, senior diplomats and politicians faced investigations and resignations simply for maintaining contact with Epstein after his 2008 conviction. When it comes to late convicted sex offender and pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, association alone can destroy reputations. That's why critics argue that publishing a list of 305 names without detailed explanation risks unfairly tainting individuals, especially when some were deceased long before Epstein's criminal enterprise expanded. The Epstein Files Transparency Act requires the release of all unclassified records related to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The DOJ says that roughly 6 million pages were reviewed, more than 3.5 million pages were released, and redactions were limited to victim privacy, child sexual abuse material, active investigations, and national security concerns. Bondi maintains the department followed the law precisely, but critics argue that legal compliance isn't the same as meaningful transparency. If the public receives names without context, explanations, or timelines, clarity may be lost instead of gained. The inclusion of names like Janis Joplin only amplifies skepticism.